Hey there, fellow shinobi enthusiasts, and welcome back to Gaga's Fiction, and today, we're diving headfirst into a shadowy alternate universe of the Naruto series. That's right, it's time to explore the tantalizing what-if scenario. What if Naruto fell into darkness? We're embarking on an epic journey through Naruto, the shadow of the will of fire, and this is just the beginning. Get ready for a thrilling adventure filled with twists, turns, and unexpected choices that could change the entire ninja world as we know it. But before we kick off this thrilling saga, make sure to check out the full playlist in the description below, so you can binge watch this incredible story from start to finish. And hey, if you're as passionate about fanfiction as we are, don't forget to subscribe to our second channel, Snuggy Dude, where we explore captivating My Hero Academia fanfictions and more. You won't want to miss out on the adventures waiting for you there. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join our incredible community of fellow fiction lovers. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single chapter of this mind-bending Naruto tale. So, without further ado, let's step into the shadows and see just how deep the darkness goes in Naruto, the shadow of the will of fire. Get ready to be amazed, my friends, it's time for the adventure of a lifetime. The past 12 hours had been the longest and most challenging in the life of the 26-year-old Hokage, Minato Namikaze, a great hero of the Third Shinobi War in favor of Konoha. He was the youngest Hokage to assume office and also one of the most feared ninjas in the world. But above all, he was a single father. Widower was a more fitting word. His wife, Kushina, had sacrificed herself to save the life of their son, Naruto. At this moment, Naruto lay in his crib. The child had blonde hair with red tips, resembling his father, except for some marks on his face. But the shape of his little eyes already reminded his father of his pain. His wife had died, all because of that masked man who had tried to unleash the fox, the same fox that Naruto now carried within him. The older blonde didn't know what to do. His village was damaged, his family broken, and there were reports that Iwa and Kumo were approaching with intentions of conquest during this moment of weakness. Naruto began to cry, seeking attention. Minato didn't know what his baby wanted: food, drink, or simply maternal warmth. No, Minato was utterly lost without his emotional compass, shattered by the death of his wife. Naruto. Minato picked up his son. I don't know what to do right now, all that matters is protecting you. But how can I do that when the whole world is against us? Alone. Minato looked at Naruto. If they didn't know you existed. He commented. The baby grabbed his hand and giggled. Naruto. Minato hugged him. Forgive me, he said. 4 years later. Don't come back until evening, you phenomenon! Shouted an elderly woman, slamming the door in the face of a young blonde boy with red-tipped hair. The boy, almost 5 years old, which he would be in 3 days, had a gaze that would frighten a seasoned ninja. He rarely displayed any emotion on his face. His gaze was almost always vacant, reacting only when something caught his attention. He barely spoke, and when he did, it was often to threaten his peers. The boy was one of many orphans from the night when the Kyuubi attacked. They were being groomed to enter the village's reserves as future shinobi. In fact, his orphanage was run by a group of shinobi and kunoichi hired by the civilian authority responsible for this area. However, the boy was not just special because of his gaze, he had a peculiar ability. That morning, while having breakfast, another child had tried to steal his meal. When he failed, he threw the boy to the ground. Many of the other orphans, younger or older, laughed at the scene. They only stopped when Naruto broke the metal spoon and stabbed it into the boy's neck. The injured child was rushed to the medics, while Naruto was punished with blows from a metal bar for what he had done. However, his peculiar ability manifested itself, healing every wound, mending every broken bone, and erasing every bruise. If it hurt, the overseers wouldn't know, because his face displayed no emotions. That's why the overseer punished him by leaving him outside. The boy merely blinked and sighed as he walked through the village. He was aware of his surroundings, and as he walked, Naruto noticed that everyone avoided him. When he reached a quiet spot and sat down, Naruto waited for something. He didn't know what. He lay down for a moment and closed his eyes. He woke up when he heard the sound of a cane. Naruto opened his eyes and saw a man with one side of his face bandaged, along with his body and one arm, hidden beneath black fabric from his yukata. The man's other arm held the cane. The man walked slowly, but something about him didn't seem right, as if he were pretending to be a frail old man. Good afternoon, young one, the old man greeted him. From that moment, Naruto knew something was wrong. All the adults avoided him. If one came close, it was a signal of alarm. "I've heard you're an orphan," the old man remarked. "However, that orphanage doesn't offer the best options if you want to become a great shinobi," he explained. "I don't want to be a ninja," the boy said, still lying down. "Then what would you be?" the man asked. "Orphanages are only for the future military force of the village." "Where will you go?" "To the forest? The animals will kill you without hesitation. Nature is cruel," the old man explained. Naruto thought. He had heard those words before, in the voice of his nightmares. "Only the strong survive." The boy finished the man's sentence. The old man seemed pleased by that. "So tell me," the old man sat down. "What is your goal, your objective, your dream?" he questioned the boy. Naruto thought about it. He didn't really have any of those things, he simply lived for the sake of living. But it felt empty. Naruto felt a slight headache and shook his head in annoyance. Naruto noticed for a brief moment that the man was annoyed by that. But only for a moment. The next moment, his face returned to its emotionless state. "Many want to become great shinobi, others aspire to be clan leaders, some dream of becoming Hokage," the old man said. "That's my dream, to become Hokage," he stated. Naruto looked at him. "We all have dreams, and sometimes they won't come true unless we make them. You must do whatever it takes to achieve your dream," he explained. Naruto pondered the man's words. An objective, Naruto thought. "Only the strong survive," he muttered. "I want to be strong and survive," Naruto explained to the old man. He stood up. "If that's the case, perhaps the orphanage you're in isn't the best one," the man commented, looking at him. "Mine is," he explained. "What's your name?" Naruto asked. "I am Danzo Shimura," the man replied. "I am Danzo Shimura." Those were the words Naruto remembered at this moment. 3 long years had passed since that encounter. Things changed very quickly. First, several children, including Naruto, were moved from one orphanage to another in the village, perhaps with better resources, facilities, and more staff, but also with more surveillance and restrictions. They had tightly scheduled routines and almost no outings from the building, unless 2 things happened: one of the caretakers took you out, or you escaped. When they took you out, there were 2 options: you either returned as a different person or you didn't return at all. And when you escaped, you simply didn't return. Except for one exception, Naruto quickly learned to navigate the building. He knew the locations of the cameras, blind spots, passages, the number of doors and windows, the number of people inside, and the schedules. When he escaped for the first time, he was pursued by the caretakers, but Naruto managed to elude them, even though they almost caught him many times. In the end, he returned out of boredom. They improved security, and he escaped again. This became a constant occurrence. Instead of trying to stop him, the caretakers created a sort of competition among themselves to see who could catch him, but no one succeeded. Another thing was that the rooms were not divided by age or gender. They were divided by abilities. There were rooms for those skilled with weapons, rooms for those with high chakra levels, rooms for those with unique features, such as extra hands or other peculiarities, and rooms for those with elemental affinities. Naruto was in the latter group, on the 4th floor. His room, like all others, was shared with a girl who was somewhat beautiful and kind to him. Her name was Sorai, and she had exceptionally high affinities for Doton and Katon elements. Naruto, on the other hand, had high affinities for Futon, Raiten, Suton, and Katon elements. This was what made him stand out within the orphanage's framework. During their schedules, they had rigorous classes that covered a wide range of information from all over the world. If you failed to provide an answer, you were punished. There were classes on weapon throwing, hand-to-hand combat, weapon combat, and, most importantly, ninjutsu. It was all very advanced, but Naruto ranked among the top. One could say that Naruto didn't have friends, but that was because in this orphanage, you were only allowed to be friends with the person you shared a room with. Any attempt to form a relationship beyond training or class was punished. Naruto didn't care much about that. This place had a better bed, books he could read whenever he wanted, food every day, hot water, and if he escaped, he could always come back. It was his place. It was close to his birthday when Sorai and he were selected for the test. The test was given to children 8 years old and older. If you passed the test, you were allowed to leave the orphanage, given an apartment in the village, and received a monthly treasure payment. Naruto and Sorai were chosen, and they were given a simple mission. They had to retrieve 2 scrolls in the Forest of Death, each left with instructions. Once they found both scrolls, They had to open them and follow the instructions. The forest is very beautiful, isn't it, Naruto-kun? Sorai said as they jumped among the trees. The two children were dressed in matching black outfits with long-sleeved shirts and pants, with pouches on their backs. Sorai carried a katana, while Naruto had nothing visible. It is, Naruto replied, jumping and quickly throwing kunais at a giant insect. The kunais glowed green as they pierced the creature, along with the tree and rocks, with ease. All thanks to Naruto's wind chakra. You're very strong and cool, Naruto-kun, Sorai said, smiling at him. That's why you're my best friend, she proudly stated. Naruto simply nodded. They reached a point where they separated to search for their respective scrolls. Naruto had to cross a river, walk on it, and use his wind chakra to split a waterfall to reach the scroll. He returned to Sorai. I had to retrieve it from a hole rigged with explosive notes, the girl told him. You know, when we live close by, as neighbors, how about we celebrate your birthday? She suggested. I'd like that, Naruto said, happy about the idea of celebrating his birthday with someone he could consider his best friend. The two children opened the scrolls simultaneously. Your final order, kill your companion. Those were the only words on the scroll. Sorai looked at Naruto and smiled. This must be a trick, she said, looking around. The will of fire says you must protect your companion, she explained. What do you say, Naru-kun? Sorai stopped speaking when a kunai pierced her heart. Naruto held it with both hands. There were tears in his eyes, but his gaze was stern. The girl saw him and smiled with her last strength. She closed her eyes and died. Naruto watched her lifeless body fall. He saw his hand stained with blood and threw the kunai to the ground. He didn't do it. He didn't, but he had to. No one stands in your way to become stronger. If you complete the mission, you receive more things that will help you become stronger. Sorai knew this because she refused to complete the mission. Why did she smile? Because she didn't fight. The sound of a cane echoed. Well done, without hesitation, without emotions, without regrets, Danzo Shimura and two masked figures in robes emerged from the shadows. You did it well, Naruto. You completed the mission, he commented. Naruto only looked at his hands, stained with blood. He looked at his best friend, or rather, what used to be his friend. She was now just a lifeless body, fertilizer for the forest, an orphan that no one would miss, a life that ended to become stronger. Naruto turned away and left her body for the forest to reclaim. Danzo nodded, and Naruto and he vanished in a gust of wind. At the age of 10, Naruto officially entered the academy. Upon passing his test, he graduated from the orphanage and was given an apartment, money, and specialized training. While his peers continued with the academy, he received direct training from Danzo. During this time, Naruto came to both hate and respect the man. Danzo's methods were cruel, and few could endure them, but Naruto did. Danzo didn't care if his wind jutsu cut Naruto's skin, he didn't mind allowing him to be beaten by multiple opponents at once, and he paid no heed to the stress of learning to perform seals while dodging explosive notes. All Danzo cared about was making him stronger. Naruto accepted this. He needed to be strong to survive, that was his sole purpose, to survive. Nature is wise, only the strongest survive, and he would be the strongest. So, after learning wind jutsu, seal knowledge, hand-to-hand combat, and weapons combat, Naruto, at the age of 10, would join the ranks of shinobi as an academy apprentice and emerge as a Jonin at the age of 14. It was something Naruto accepted. He was ready for anything. As he watched the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, give the welcoming speech to the future generation of Jonin, he could see children being supported by their parents. He was alone, but for a moment, he caught a strange look from the Hokage, a look of both pride and sadness. He continued to observe and noticed Danzo seated with 3 other elders. The old man simply nodded and tapped his cane. Naruto grumbled but nodded. The 10-year-old boy with blonde hair and red-tipped ends, blue eyes, and marks on his cheeks wondered what his days at the academy would be like. Naruto sat, enveloped in a profound sense of ennui, within the walls of the academy. Several months had passed since the commencement of training for the future military assets of the village. These future soldiers, clandestinely primed to combat and eliminate threats to their village and country, were nothing more than a cohort of children who perceived everything as a mere game. From the earliest days in the academy, Naruto had developed a deep aversion to 2 facets of his education, his fellow students and the instructors themselves. While it was natural for the students to be children, As he was one himself, Naruto believed that these youngsters had chosen the path of the shinobi and should have outgrown frivolity. Alas, the majority were orphans of the Kyuubi incident, others were children of civilians seeking adventure and perhaps a chance to etch their names into the annals of their village or the world, and the rest were heirs to prestigious clans, individuals Naruto deemed profoundly disappointing. Shikaku Nara was renowned as one of the world's foremost strategists in the shinobi realm, with whispers of him being the potential successor to Minato. Inoiki Yamanaka was famed as the man capable of breaching any mind or mental fortress, and Akimichi Kuza was an experienced warrior capable of single-handedly taking on 1,000 ninjas and emerging victorious. And then there were their children, a lazy boy who only attended school to avoid parental reprimands, a timid boy grappling with self-esteem issues, prone to fits of anger when taunted about his weight, and a blonde girl utterly fixated on a cool boy, her sole preoccupation being the pursuit of love. Inuzuka Tariai had been a great man who perished battling the Kyuubi, a legend among his people. Hyashi Hyuga was the most accomplished user of the Byakugan in his generation, while Shibuya Barame possessed unmatched information-gathering skills. Moreover, there were those who considered themselves superior, an egocentric boy, a girl whose only purpose seemed to be blushing profusely, and an exceedingly reticent boy whom everyone ignored. Then, there were the two most irksome individuals. Sasuke Uchiha, the Uchiha clan heir and the expected prodigy of his generation, following in the footsteps of his father and brother. And Sakura Haruno, whom Naruto suspected might be a disguised banshee, a girl with an ample forehead accentuated by her hairstyle, her thoughts seemingly consumed by Sasuke's approval. Simply put, they were all vexing to Naruto. Naruto pondered Sasuke's case. His entire family was steeped in the ways of the ninja. His father, Fugaku Uchiha, had been one of the best and strongest shinobi during the Third Ninja War but had been relegated to the position of police chief due to his frequent clashes with the fourth Hokage. Mikoto Uchiha, one of the three beasts of Konoha, a title given to Tsunade Senju's apprentices, was another. There was also a woman named Kushina, whom Naruto cared little about, but her name appeared on the group's report. Not to mention Tsume Inuzuka. And who could forget the most significant prodigy of the Uchiha clan, Itachi Uchiha? Jinan at the age of 6, Chunin at 7, Jounin at 8, Anbu at 10, and Anbu captain at 15. Naruto sighed, these were the troublesome students. It wasn't that Naruto harbored any ill will towards Sasuke personally, it was the collective behavior of his peers that made Sasuke seem insufferable to Naruto. However, it was the teachers who held Sasuke in the highest regard. From his very first day in their classes, Naruto sensed their animosity toward him. Every teacher seemed to have a grudge, elevating the difficulty level of questions when addressing him. While other children received questions like, how many villages are there in the Land of Fire? Or who were the Hokages? Naruto faced inquiries such as, what is chakra? Enumerate its fundamental and advanced properties, describe the 5 chakra natures, and elucidate why there are 5. All encompassed within a single query. Or, provide the precise coordinates of the hidden cloud village. These questions surpassed the knowledge level of a Jinan, yet Naruto consistently responded correctly, leading to his isolation as a know-it-all. The written exams were even more unforgiving. He was consistently graded unfairly, to the extent that he was at risk of repeating the first year. Only when he showed his exams to Iruka Umino, the Chunin instructor responsible for their year, and compared them to those of Shikamaru and Choji, did it become evident that sabotage was at play. By the second year, all the teachers claimed that Naruto was merely copying from Sakura, Sasuke, or even Shikamaru. So, Naruto began taking his exams alone, crafting tests that far exceeded the Jinan standard. Yet, Naruto remained apathetic to it all. It was all so tedious, so pedestrian. Everyone seemed weak, to the point where he found no motivation to engage in combat. Not even during combat practice sessions when nobody wanted to spar with Naruto. And so, even if he happened to break a girl's legs or dislocate a boy's arms, this was a ninja academy in a militarized village, such occurrences were par for the course. Naruto sighed as he finished reading his book on the history of the shinobi from the 5 great nations, paying minimal attention to the instructor. Once the class ended, they had a break, followed by the Hokage's monthly visit. This had been another peculiar aspect of Naruto's second year. Since the beginning of that year, Hokage Minato Namikaze had been making monthly appearances, evaluating the teachers and spending time with the students. He primarily regaled them with tales of his ninja days, though Naruto knew that he sugar-coated these stories to shield the children from the harsher realities. For Naruto, these sessions held no significance. However, they were invariably followed by jutsu practice. On this particular day, Sasuke Uchiha conjured a nearly flawless fireball. "Very well done, Uchiha-san," commended the overseeing Chunin. "Sasuke-kun is so cool," squealed a girl. "Absolutely," added Ino. "He's so handsome," chimed in Sakura. Naruto sighed at their behavior, secretly hoping that Sakura would meet her end on her first real mission rather than risk being captured and used as a sexual slave. The mere thought that her offspring might inherit her unattractive voice and oversized forehead sent shivers down his spine. "It's your turn," the instructor grumbled impatiently, addressing Naruto. Naruto let out a sigh and initiated the hand seals. "Futon, Shinkigyuko no Jutsu," Naruto whispered under his breath. He inflated his chest and released a pressurized air sphere that shattered the training dome, the surrounding fence, and even a nearby rock wall. Everyone witnessed the spectacle. "A 7, the overseeing Chunin remarked, clearly annoyed. Naruto remained silent. "Who do you think you are to do that?" a girl challenged him. "Yeah, you're nobody," another added. "You're just an orphan trying to steal attention from Sasuke-kun," Sakura chimed in, addressing Naruto. He simply walked past them. "Just 2 more years, please, just 2 more years, and let her fail," Naruto silently pleaded with any deity to make his dream of a world without the bothersome Sakura come true. After that day, things continued mostly without incident. Well, mostly. The timid and seemingly inept Hinata had been abducted by Kumo Chunin. And they nearly succeeded. Nearly being the operative word here. For some inexplicable reason, their heads exploded in the middle of the abduction, as if struck by something incredibly strong and heavy. Only the girl could testify as to who had saved her, but no one believed her, further cementing Naruto's reputation. This event, however, led to Naruto receiving contact from his first mentor once more. The deaths of the Kumo Chunin have worked to our advantage. Those few loyal to the Third Raikage's ideals, who coveted the Byakugan, have been imprisoned by the Raikage himself, Danzo informed Naruto. The boy lay on a tree branch, the night sky above, in the same forest where they first met, their meeting point far from prying eyes or meddlers. "And what's that to me?" Naruto inquired from his branch. "Everything. The Hyuga girl claims you saved her, but many do not believe her. We've handled it as a mere side effect of the kidnapping and a result of her infatuation with you, causing her to believe you rescued her," Danzo explained. "Nevertheless, the Hokage and his ilk will be watching you more closely, just in case," the bandaged man added. "Great, as if I needed that. The academy is so boring. Who was the idiot who messed up Tobirama's educational system?" Naruto sneered. "Hiruzen," replied the bandaged man. "Of course, the useless third Hokage," Naruto said with disdain. Danzo smiled at Naruto's response. "I need something to keep me occupied. The only things that interest me are seals, and the materials for them are both difficult to obtain and expensive," Naruto commented. Danzo's smile grew wider. "You need to do more than protect a dojutsu and upset international politics to earn my assistance, Naruto," the older man remarked. Naruto grumbled. "What do you want?" he asked. "In a few days, a delicate situation will arise in the village. I need you to ensure the survival of Uchiha Sasuke," Danzo explained. "Fine," Naruto said. "Tell me the time and date, and I'll keep him alive," he added. Danzo looked at him intently. "Don't you want to know what the mission is?" the elder asked. "Why bother? You're not the only one who has noticed the Sharingan users moving around. I know something's going on. That boy, Shisui, committed suicide, didn't he? And it seems the Uchihas are upset about it," Naruto commented. "Whatever you're up to doesn't concern me. I just want my materials, and if that means saving one kid for them, it's a small price to pay. The others will just get in my way," Naruto explained. Danzo nodded. "Complete your mission, and your reward will follow," the man said before walking away. Naruto leapt from the tree and left. He knew Danzo would do something. He could warn everyone. But that wasn't his problem, he only cared about what directly affected him. Besides, who would believe him? A few days later. Luck seemed to be on Naruto's side. Firstly, he didn't have to forcibly infiltrate the Uchiha complex. Naruto had contemplated how to infiltrate the Uchiha compound, a challenge due to the clan's vigilant civilian patrols, military police, and experienced ninja. He had done it once before, but back then, he was discovered by Itachi Uchiha, who had simply asked him to leave. Now, however, Sasuke had approached him. The boy was attempting to master the Gokakyu no Jutsu, the Grand Fireball Jutsu, but was still struggling. Upon seeing Naruto's impressive pressurized air shot, he asked if Naruto could assist him. Additionally, Naruto received information about the impending events from one of his classmates. So, he spent nearly a week helping Sasuke refine his technique until the young Uchiha could unleash an enormous fireball that surpassed the technique's name. Afterward, Naruto continued waiting, knowing that something was about to happen. The growing aggression of the police force, the strange behavior of the Uchiha clan's leaders, all of these factors set off alarms in Naruto's mind, as indicated in his notes. 2 more days passed, and on the day Sasuke invited him to his home to introduce him to his family, both of them found themselves in trouble, all because of Kiba. Kiba had caused problems by painting the academy wall and falsely blaming Naruto and Sasuke. So, after 7 in the evening, the two set off for Sasuke's house. However, something was amiss. The main street was eerily quiet, with no candles lit, and it seemed like the electricity had been cut off. Naruto followed Sasuke, who was running with concern towards his home. As they entered the main room, Naruto turned around, puzzled, and saw a figure who appeared to be the attacker. It was strange, Naruto didn't recognize any agents of Danzo wearing a yellow and black mask with a single eye. After a while, Naruto entered the room again and found the clan leader dead with his wife by his side. "Are you still breathing?" Naruto asked, examining the woman's wounds. Naruto created 2 clones and left them to watch over her, as his main objective was nowhere to be found. He rushed to the main street, where he spotted the attacker, who turned out to be none other than Uchiha Itachi, ensnaring his brother in a genjutsu. Itachi noticed Naruto and was about to use another genjutsu on him, but Naruto triggered something on the ground, creating a blinding explosion of light that alerted the nearby patrol squads. Itachi quickly made his escape, while Naruto rushed to Sasuke's side. The young boy looked terrible, so Naruto applied chakra and broke the genjutsu. Unfortunately, Naruto spent that night in the investigation and torture department after the patrol ninjas arrested him. Naruto endured hours of torture, though in truth, they didn't do anything that Naruto hadn't experienced before. All the ninjas were convinced of his involvement and believed he should be killed. It wasn't until they learned that Uchiha Itachi was the real culprit, from Mikoto herself, that they let him go, but not without warning him that they would be keeping a close watch on him. Sasuke Uchiha woke up in the hospital a week later. He remembered what had happened and was certain that everything he loved had been lost. He had only one goal, to avenge his clan by killing Itachi. "Sasuke," his mother said as she entered his room, clearly worried, and embraced him. His mind raced. How was this possible? He had seen her die. "The survival of Uchiha Mikoto was not part of your mission," Danzo commented to Naruto as they met on a bridge outside the village. "It's just the most logical course of action," Naruto replied, checking his new tools. If Sasuke were to become an orphan, he would pose a permanent flight risk to the village. Now that he has a sentimental attachment, it will be more challenging. Additionally, keeping the matriarch alive allows us to maintain political control over whether Uchiha Madara's heir continues to hold her position in the village's decision-making. Fugaku, her husband, was manageable, but with her here, all we need is to find someone to impregnate her, and we'll have new Uchiha forces that can be optimally trained. Danzo nodded. "I see you didn't confront Itachi. You only alerted everyone. I believe the investigation and torture units are now onto you. I'm not an idiot. I'm not on Itachi's level yet, but when I am, I'll face him. And who cares about the investigation and torture units? After all, the patrol squads are the least effective units in the village," Naruto said to Danzo. Danzo agreed. "Keep an eye on the Uchiha boy." "Danzo," Naruto said, "next time you eliminate a clan, have the decency not to take their eyes." With that, Naruto vanished in a gust of wind, and Danzo disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Naruto was back at the academy, where many still whispered about him and some children believed he had been involved in the Uchiha massacre. The teacher seemed relentless in punishing him for even the slightest infraction. Things started to change when Sasuke returned. Sasuke began sitting with Naruto, and his demeanor became more reserved and mysterious, which only attracted more admirers. He focused more on his training, silently competing with Naruto. Naruto couldn't have cared less. But Sasuke's presence became his only distraction from the monotonous days at the academy. These were the final days of the academy, and Naruto would finally become a part of the village's military forces. Naruto hoped that Danzo would place him within one of the teams that had infiltrated for the next generation. At the moment, Naruto was doing push-ups with his legs on the railing of his apartment, doing handstands to flex his body. This was merely a warm-up. The training at the orphanage was much more rigorous. The burns on the backs of many ninjas were evidence of this. For the past 8 months, Naruto had been practicing his seals since the death of the Uchiha clan. He could create explosive tags and storage scrolls, but, thanks to the resources provided by Danzo, he had developed 3 new variants. First was the explosive area note, the name of which was pending. Instead of being consumed like a regular explosive tag when thrown, it dispersed in the area where it was launched, creating a trap within a 10-meter radius. If touched, it exploded. According to Danzo's reports, to whom Naruto provided this note for a field test, it could also be used to mark an enemy. When the enemy returned to their comrades and they examined the note, it would activate the trap. Frankly, Naruto hadn't thought of that use, but it could be more useful for him. The second variant was the extra storage scrolls. They didn't have the weight restrictions of regular storage scrolls, which were limited by the weight of the objects. This was a problem because more weight required more ink and paper for the seal, often resulting in unwieldy scrolls. Naruto's variant didn't have this weight problem but had a limitation of holding a maximum of 100 identical objects, so while it was an improvement, it wasn't perfect. The third was similar to the second but required Naruto to apply his elemental chakra to activate it. This improvement allowed him to instantly launch kunai or shurikens with a sharper edge thanks to his wind element. These were his advancements, in addition to the 4 wind ninjutsus that Danzo had provided as payment for keeping an eye on Sasuke Uchiha. These were the futon techniques. 1. Futon, Kaze no Kabe, wind style, wind wall. This jutsu involved applying chakra to the lungs and exhaling to create a superdense air barrier capable of stopping explosions and attacks, as long as the user continued to blow. 2. Futon, Kaze no Kusari, wind style, wind chains. This jutsu started in the lungs but required stopping the chakra flow before trapping it in the hands. It generated long strips of wind that could momentarily ensnare an enemy, and they were nearly unbreakable unless the enemy used Raiten. 3. Futon, Atsuryoku Ken, wind style, pressure fist. This technique combined jutsu with combat skills. It involved storing a certain amount of air in an open palm, then rapidly closing the hand to create a high-speed punch. Additionally, a sphere of air formed at the elbow, providing greater momentum and strength to the strike. It was considered a risky technique as it could cause significant damage to the user's bones and muscles, not recommended unless it was the only option in close combat. 4. Futon, Kuki no Toru, wind style, air depletion. This technique involved sucking all the oxygen from the surroundings for the user's benefit. Its pros included preventing the use of Katen jutsu in the user's presence. However, rapidly absorbing oxygen could lead to the user passing out or, in severe cases, over-oxygenation of the blood, resulting in skin bruising, organ failure, and cerebral damage. Nevertheless, this jutsu had an evolution that Danzo described as kinjutsu. The kinjutsu, Ikkyo Nusumu or breath steal, was a variation of the previous technique. According to Danzo, it had to be used when the enemy and the user were both breathing. At that moment, the user would suck all the air from the enemy's lungs, potentially rendering them unconscious or dead, depending on how long it was used. Naruto sometimes wondered why Danzo was so willing to provide him with jutsus that could be considered lethal. It was as if he wanted Naruto to become a ruthless killer. Naruto sighed and stopped exercising to take a bath. Tomorrow would be the graduation exam from the Shinobi Academy. It had been another monotonous day in the life of Minato Namikaze, a man nearing his 40s. He had a quiet day at the office, signing and filling out paperwork, with only a 2-hour break to eat and then continue working. Finishing work at 9 p.m., he went to Ichiraku Ramen, as he did every Thursday. The father and daughter who owned the place greeted him, knowing exactly what he would order. He sat in his usual spot, ordered an extra bowl of ramen that he wouldn't eat, and paid his bill before heading home. His house was a 2-story building with an extra tower serving as his office and library. Minato entered the dark and empty house, turned on the lights, left his sandals by the entrance, hung his cloak on a rack, and walked towards the living room. In the living room, there were 2 armchairs on either side of a table. Minato glanced at the wall where a few pictures were hung, some of his parents, some of his students, one from his wedding day, and a wanted poster from his time in Iwa. His gaze continued until it landed on one photo that always brought back memories. He took it off the wall, something he had done many times before when returning home. In the picture, he was embracing Kushina, his wife, with her slightly bulging belly. It was a pleasant memory. He put the photo back on the wall, went upstairs to take a shower and clean up. Afterward, he put on his underwear and sat on the bed, where a thick rectangular book lay on the nightstand. With a sigh, Minato picked up the book, as he did every night. Upon opening it, the first page was a black sheet. When he held it up to the light, he could make out something hazy and a small circled area, the first ultrasound. He continued flipping through the pages, seeing pictures taken by Kushina. Some of them featured the two of them painting a room that Minato hadn't opened in 14 years. The photos progressed until one showed a tired Kushina holding a small, red baby. The photo was covered by plastic, but even so, tears welled up in Minato's eyes. That night. If only something had been different. But no, on that night, his wife had died to save their son in the village, leaving Naruto with the burden of being the new container for the Nine Tails. It was the village's greatest secret, and Minato made sure it stayed that way. Minato wiped away his tears. Seeing that happy face of Kushina always made him cry, and even now, he remembered the sound of his son's cries on that day. Minato sighed and turned the page to view the few remaining photos. Minato had never made a promise about this book, but he knew that Kushina had bought it with a single purpose, to fill it with Naruto's life. There was a photo of Naruto at the age of 4, a picture Minato had obtained when Naruto was transferred to another orphanage because traces of asbestos were found in his room. Then there was one of Naruto on the day he started the academy, standing with all the other children, smiling in the center. But Naruto was in a corner, and his gaze didn't reflect happiness, it seemed more like resignation. Minato saw these two photos, and as he flipped through the rest of the book, the other pages remained blank with plastic where more photos could rest. Sometimes, Minato wondered if he should have filled it with his son's life. But he also knew that asking or showing too much concern about Naruto could raise suspicions. Then there was that other thought, the thought that this book should be filled from the very beginning. That was the only thought that gnawed at him day after day. He knew his son was safe and protected from any enemy, but he also knew that his son didn't call him father. He knew Naruto's home shouldn't be a small apartment in Konoha's red light district but the room his mother had enthusiastically decorated for him. He knew that when he came home, there should be light, and a child, perhaps not awake but inside the house. He knew that at Ichiraku, Naruto shouldn't eat alone. Sometimes, he regretted his decision. But it was for the best. Considering what happened with Hyashi's daughter and the Uchiha clan, it only reinforced the idea that his decision had been the right one. He knew Naruto was safe, but he also knew that the day he had to tell the truth wouldn't be pleasant. He understood what it was like to grow up without a father, but at least he had someone to look after him in his clan, and he had a good sensei who was almost like a father to him. He hoped that when the day came, Naruto would be ready, and he could assume the role that should be his. Mentor, guide, moral figure, friend, teacher, father. After all, Minato had seen Naruto at the academy, had laughed when he noticed how smart Naruto was. It was like seeing himself, but with Kushina's character. The boy was smart, perhaps too smart. By the gods, he felt immensely proud when he saw Naruto break a dome, a fence, and a wall with a B-rank wind jutsu like he did. He also felt quite angry when he found out, 24 hours later, that Naruto had been in the research and interrogation division that day. The Chunin and Jounin involved were in prison for skipping protocol. Minato smiled a bit. If he could ensure that Naruto had a good Jounin sensei, Naruto had shown excellent use of wind chakra. Maybe Asuma would be a good teacher for Naruto. If he arranged it well enough, he could at least do his part. Although he would prefer to do it himself. But he couldn't take that risk. Minato sighed. He needed to sleep, it was already late. It was 11 p.m., and he had to be in the office by 7 a.m. to start assigning missions. He placed the book back on his nightstand and pulled the covers over himself. "Good night, Kushi," he said to nothing, turning off his lamp to sleep peacefully. Today was the day of the graduation test at the Shinobi Academy. Sasuke Uchiha woke up early and was a bit tired, he had trained late into the night yesterday. When he went downstairs and found his mother happily cooking breakfast, he smiled a bit. The timid and somewhat inhibited boy who had been overshadowed by his older brother had transformed into someone reserved. Many would say he was serious or stoic in the presence of strangers, but among acquaintances, he was still a kind-hearted child. After breakfast, Sasuke grabbed his things and headed out. "Have a good day, Sasuke-kun," Mikado said, handing him his bento for the day. The dark-haired boy left the house and ran towards the academy. From a distance, he spotted his friend rival leaping between rooftops in the same direction. If Naruto had become a constant in Sasuke's life, he He was one of the few in the academy who didn't care about his clan status. He was one of the few who didn't hesitate to make him bleed in a fight, and he was one of the few Sasuke could honestly say was stronger than him. Naruto was Sasuke's benchmark for measuring strength. It was clear to Sasuke that, even though everyone in the academy tried to belittle him or make fun of him, Naruto was far above many graduates and even some teachers. Sasuke wasn't surprised when he arrived at the classroom and saw the others already there. Shikamaru Nara was asleep, with Kuji Akimichi beside him eating chips, and Shino Aburame in a corner, silently observing. And Naruto was sitting in his usual spot. Sasuke took his place next to him, resting his elbows on the table and intertwining his fingers to support his chin in a thinking pose. "I see you still haven't mastered it," Naruto commented as he seemed to be writing something that Sasuke didn't understand anymore. It wasn't that he didn't know what it was evident it was a scroll of seals, but he had long stopped understanding the symbols Naruto placed on them. "No," Sasuke replied briefly, knowing Naruto was referring to the jutsu he had been practicing. "Your lips," Naruto said. "Close them more." Sasuke nodded, intending to try it later. Soon, the annoying girls of their age arrived, asking him for a date, offering to share their lunch, or trying to take Naruto's seat to sit with him. Sasuke was sitting on the right, Naruto on the left, and the girls didn't want to sit on the stairs, so they often bothered the blonde. Both of them were accustomed to this. Even Sasuke noticed the only girl who could be said to have feelings for Naruto. She always sat behind the two desks above and watched him with an affectionate gaze. It seemed that Naruto either didn't realize it or simply didn't care. "Class, please take your seats," Iruka kindly requested. But the girls and the few boys standing did not pay him any heed. "I said, take your seats," the giant-headed Iruka exclaimed, startling the children. "All right, boys and girls, today is your graduation day. After these 4 long years, you will finally become the village's active military personnel, the next generation of strength that will bring peace to the village." Iruka began his speech. It lasted for about 5 minutes, highlighting concepts such as honor, justice, peace, and, above all, camaraderie. Words that Naruto knew were not entirely common in the true path they had chosen. Now, with the help of Mitsuki, Iruka pointed to his fellow Chunin sensei, "We will distribute the exams, and then we will move on to the practical part. Naruto, you don't have to separate yourself today," the man added as he glanced at Naruto, who was ready to leave. This caused laughter from many of his fellow shinobi classmates. Naruto took a deep breath. And many stopped laughing for a moment. It seemed like he had taken everyone's breath away, even the Chunin felt it. That was strange, most of them thought. The exam was not difficult this time, it was standard for everyone present. The next part was even easier. Naruto created 5 shadow clones, he couldn't make just one as he knew from experience in his previous training. The second part was taking on someone else's appearance using the henge technique. Naruto briefly transformed into the current Hokage before returning to himself. And the last part was substitution. Mitsuki threw a kunai, and Naruto had to replace himself with a log. However, instead of doing that, he replaced himself with Mitsuki. Mitsuki barely blocked the kunai. "Why did you do that, Naruto?" Iruka asked, clearly annoyed. "He was closer than the log," Naruto replied, his red-tipped hair spiking with agitation. "Besides almost killing me," Mitsuki grumbled, "a cage bunshine with someone else is more challenging." "That's true," Iruka calmed down and smiled. "You seem to meet all the criteria for the practical part. We'll let you know about the written exam later." Naruto simply nodded and left the classroom, noticing the resentful look Iruka gave him. Naruto noticed the other 3 infiltrators. It was obvious to anyone with half a brain that the kids shouldn't look like that. First, there was Roan, or something like that, Naruto vaguely remembered his name. He was extremely pale, somewhat similar to Sasuke, except for his straight hair. He had killed his brother on the day of the test and was good at drawing. Then there was Ike, a girl with cinnamon-colored skin, who could be considered a field medic ninja. Danzo always sent her to heal people at the orphanage. She was good at healing, but Naruto had memories of her being very skilled with toxins. And Rook, a somewhat burly boy whom Naruto knew was good at taking hits and returning them. These 3 were the group Naruto knew of, but he was aware that there were at least 3 more in the other groups. After a few hours, the results were announced, and Naruto had to wait since there were no shinobi headbands left for him. As he was leaving, Mitsuki approached him. "Hey, Naruto, I've seen your performance, and I wanted to tell you there's a special test that, if I recommend you, You can skip the Jinan rank and become a Chunin. The blue-haired man lied. Naruto knew about it but decided to hear him out. What's the test? The blonde asked calmly. Mitsuki smiled. There's a scroll guarded by the third Hokage for this test. You have to take it from him. He's usually reading most of the time. Then, you must run to the center of the Konoha forest, turn right before the metal gates, and you'll see a large twisted tree. You have to stay hidden there for 4 hours without being found, and then I'll come to find you and grant you the Chunin rank. Naruto wondered if the Chunin was an idiot or what, but that scroll was unique, guarded by Hiruzen Sarutobi, the scroll of the Hokage's secrets. Interesting, Naruto thought. So when do we start? He asked Mitsuki. The Chunin smiled, confident that he could deliver the scroll to Orochimaru and gain the power he had been promised. 8 o'clock in the evening. Naruto waited until this hour, the time when the bureaucrats were bored and eager to go home, ignoring anything in their path. Using a henge, Naruto transformed into the fourth Hokage. He had a plan, but he also knew that whoever was manipulating Mitsuki could be a potential threat to the village. So, Naruto had to play everything right. He'd be lying if he said he wasn't excited. He knew he would have a brief battle and a long escape against the third Hokage. He might be politically inept, but he was still a legend. Jojo. The older man was reading a book with orange covers and chuckling to himself. Emotion plummeted to the ground. Naruto complained, "Oh, Minato, I didn't expect to see you at this hour." The elderly man closed his book. "You must be here for what you told me," he commented. "Yes, I'm here for that," Minato Naruto replied. "You know, it's been a bit of a busy day with all the paperwork," Naruto explained. Hiruzen nodded. "Indeed, I know you were eager to go to the academy today and see him. Tell me, Minato, do you regret what you did with Naruto?" The old man exhaled smoke. "It was for the best," Naruto quickly said to avoid showing that he had no idea what the conversation was about. "I understand, but still, Minato, are you proud of the young man he has become?" Sarutobi exhaled more smoke. "I came only for the scroll, not for a lecture, Sarutobi," Minato Naruto said. "I understand," the man nodded. "I apologize, but I spent years regretting the decisions that led Azuma to leave the village. I don't want you to carry that burden in your mind any longer," he explained, handing the scroll to Minato Naruto. "I'll consider it," Minato Naruto replied. "I'll see you in a moment, I'll bring it back," the blonde explained. Of course, the man returned to his chair and continued reading. Naruto closed the door and held the scroll in his hands. "That was easier than I thought," Naruto thought, still posing as the fourth Hokage. "Good evening," Minato greeted as he passed by. "Good evening," Minato Naruto replied. Both of them took several steps before stopping and turning to face each other. Minato saw his double with the secret scroll. "Damn it," Naruto dispelled the henge and quickly moved his hand to produce a scroll and threw it on the ground. There was a flash of light and a loud sound wave that shattered the windows. "Erg," Minato recovered from his position, his eyes burning, and he heard an annoying high-pitched ringing in his ears, as if he had been too close to an explosion. "What happened, Minato?" Hiruzen asked, stepping out. "Where's the scroll? Did someone steal it?" the older man questioned. "The scroll is still with you," Minato shouted because he hadn't fully regained his hearing. A second Naruto stole the scroll. "He did," another Naruto said, greeting the men. "Before you do anything, let me clarify that I'm just a clone left with a message from the original. You see, Chunin Mitsuki wants the scroll, and I believe he's working as a spy. If I'm correct, we'll have to wait for 4 hours, the clone explained. "How do we know this isn't a trick to buy time?" Hiruzen asked, annoyed. "You can't know," the clone replied. "Take it or leave it. You can wait for 4 hours, and I'll take you to where the original is, or you can destroy me and spend 4 hours looking for me, and if you don't find me, maybe I'll be dead," the clone explained calmly. Hiruzen grumbled. "Fine," Minato said. "Now." He was about to continue speaking when something strange happened. The alarm sounded. Naruto winked at Minato and positioned himself behind the door. Mitsuki entered running. "Hokage-sama, Naruto has stolen the village scroll," he told the two Kage, who wondered how he had found out since they hadn't triggered the alarm. But soon, the entire village was on alert because of what Naruto had done, which only strengthened the suspicions about Mitsuki held by the two Kage. Danzo Shimura watched everything with annoyance. What the hell had Naruto done? This was not what he had trained him for. "You know, I've always wondered why you don't put more color into your foundations, Naruto commented, looking at Danzo. Danzo narrowed his eyes. A clone, I suppose, he commented as he noticed that his Anbu operatives were not acting against the clone. Exactly. Quick summary, Mitsuki is a traitor, and he asked me to steal the village's secret scroll. I already have it in my possession, Naruto commented. Why are you telling me this? Danzo asked. I have the scroll with the knowledge and secrets of the entire village, Danzo, Naruto smiled. What do you want me to say? The boy asked. Danzo opened his eyes wide. The boy was offering him information that he didn't have. Although he kept his expression neutral. What do you want in return? The masked man asked. Naruto's clone tossed him a scroll. Danzo opened it and read. You're asking for quite a costly team, but I'll give it to you in exchange for the following information, Danzo commented, returning the scroll. Naruto read the scroll and handed it over. Done. The clone exploded. And Danzo chuckled a bit. He had trained the boy well, stealing information, offering something in return, and ensuring he stayed alive. An effective asset for Root. In the Konoha forest. Naruto sat, waiting to see which of his two clones would explode first. Upon receiving the information that Danzo needed, Naruto smiled and examined the scroll. It had a blood seal, making it difficult to bypass. Or so he thought, until a rookie mistake caused the colossal scroll to almost slip from his hands, cutting his thumb over the blood seal, causing it to glow and the scroll to open. Strange, Naruto thought, blood seals can only be opened by the person who placed them or a close relative. However, that fact didn't matter now, he had the information to extract. 4 hours passed, and Naruto was getting rather bored waiting for Mitsuki. Finally, there was movement, but to Naruto's surprise, it wasn't Mitsuki but Iruka Umino, the Chunin sensei. Why did you do it, Naruto? The scarred man complained. I believed in you. Why did you betray the village? He asked. Naruto looked at Iruka with confusion. Iruka believed in him. Believed in him in what sense? Naruto didn't understand. It was then that Mitsuki arrived. You had to ruin everything, didn't you, Iruka? The blue-haired one complained. Well, his death will be on your conscience now. Mitsuki threw 2 smoke shurikens at Naruto. He prepared to dodge, but Iruka tackled him, getting hit in the back. Iruka, you idiot. Why are you defending him? Mitsuki shouted before pulling thin ninja wires and retrieving the weapons. You're bleeding, Naruto said, checking Iruka's wounds on his back. Hee, Mitsuki chuckled. This is the level of a true Chunin, he said. Now imagine my level when I get the power Orochimaru-sama promised me from the Hokage's scroll, he added. Orochimaru, Naruto commented, recalling the Sannin of the snake who had experimented on children and decimated a battalion during his escape. Naruto noticed that the crowd was gathering. You work for Orochimaru? Of course, I do, Mitsuki laughed. He is the real power. He will give me the strength I desire, he said. Naruto moved his hands, watching as Mitsuki prepared to attack again. Give up, Mitsuki said. A monster like you must die. Surrender, give me the scroll, and I'll let you go, he said with madness in his eyes. Or else, I'll finish what the Hokage should have done 14 years ago. What does the 4th Hokage have to do with this? Naruto asked, frustrated by the inaction of the other ninja. After all, it was a Chunin against 8 Anbu and 2 Kage, they should eliminate him. Minato gave Mitsuki a disapproving look. Mitsuki, don't do it, Iruka shouted. It's a state secret, he threatened. What secret? Naruto asked Iruka. Naruto, the Bijus, the tail beasts, the ultimate weapons of the ninja villages, cannot be destroyed, they can only be contained, Mitsuki laughed. Have you ever wondered why everyone hates you? He laughed again. Stop, Mitsuki, Iruka ordered. Because you are the container of the 9 tails, Mitsuki laughed. Your Konoha's Jinchuriki, and the 4th Hokage turned you into the monster you are, he taunted. Naruto seemed thoughtful. Do you want the scroll? Naruto took the scroll cylinder. Go get it. Naruto tossed it to the center of the field. Finally, Mitsuki descended from the trees and ran towards the scroll. But suddenly, the ground shone. From the ground, several black lines emerged, trapping Mitsuki's arms and legs. So powerful, yet you couldn't see such an obvious trap, Naruto sighed. Thank you for the information. Naruto looked at the trees. What the hell? The Chunin tried to free himself but couldn't. Let me go, you monster. I'm stronger than you. When Orochimaru-sama finds out about this. The blue-haired ninja saw Naruto smile, a smile that sent shivers down his spine. Naruto moved his hands, and shurikens appeared in them. How will you fare against Orochimaru now? Naruto began to spin the shurikens on his fingers, 2 in each hand. Without arms or legs? He commented as he launched the shurikens. Pathetic, Mitsuki laughed. Such small ones won't. Arg. Suddenly, Mitsuki was free, but his 2 arms and 2 legs were still restrained. The shurikens continued their path and cut down 2 trees before stopping on the ground. Wind chakra, Naruto said. The most dangerous for weapons. He laughed. Mitsuki took a moment to react. My arms. My legs. Arg. The torso with its 4 stumps writhed. Arg. He started to cry. Naruto approached him. Stay away, the Chunin crawled. I surrender, he pleaded. Naruto then raised a kunai and began to make it even sharper. That's enough, Hiruzen said, stopping Naruto. Naruto looked at him, annoyed. However, Minato arrived, and he saw his son. Naruto sighed. They never let me have any fun. He sheathed his kunai. Umino needs medical attention, and I wouldn't touch that scroll. Naruto noticed the ambush. It's not the original, that's a large roll of explosive notes, in case Mitsuki took it. Naruto commented as he turned to Minato and gestured with his hands. Here you go, Hokage. He handed over the scroll. Minato took it and opened it to check that everything was in order. Once he was satisfied, he gave the order, and everyone left the place. Naruto stood before Minato and Hiruzen. It was 3 in the morning, and everything had stabilized. He explained what had happened, and Mitsuki was receiving medical attention in the research and interrogation department. That's all that happened. Naruto finished speaking while Minato's secretary typed up the incident report. Very well, Minato said. Muraki, can you give us a moment? Minato asked the woman. Yes, Hokage-sama. The woman stood up and left. Naruto, what you did was reckless. You put your life at risk. What were you thinking? You almost became a traitor. What would have happened if? Minato started with a superior tone, but then his voice shifted to one of genuine concern. If your weapon had left the village, the younger blonde interrupted. Minato fell silent. Hiruzen noticed this. Naruto, you. The third was about to speak. I have only one question, Naruto interrupted as well. Was I the only option? He questioned both of them. What do you mean? Minato asked, looking directly into his son's eyes. He hadn't expected to have this conversation so soon, cursed Mitsuki and Orochimaru. I know what Jinchurikis are. I've researched them. Just tell me, Hokage-sama, of all the babies born in the village that night, of all the possible objects or living beings capable of containing the Kyuubi no Yoko, was I the only choice that night? He asked them. Minato fell silent. He didn't want to reveal the reason he was the most suitable, that would risk exposing the truth. But he could see that the boy needed an answer at this moment. Yes, Minato finally said. Naruto blinked and nodded. Understood. Naruto seemed contemplative. If you let us explain. The third Hokage began. May I be excused, Hokage-sama? Naruto requested. It's been a very revealing day, he commented. Minato felt the same way at this moment. You're dismissed, Naruto. Minato leaned back in his chair. Go to the academy in 2 days for team assignments, he ordered. Naruto stood up. As you command, Hokage-sama. Naruto closed the door. Minato, Hiruzen looked at the young Hokage. I want to be alone, Minato said, turning his chair to gaze at the moon over the village. Hiruzen sighed and left, he was too old for these things. The next day. One of the places Naruto knew perfectly was Danzo's office. The older, bandaged man was reviewing his scroll with the 3 requested jutsus. The healing jutsu of the first Hokage, the temporary reanimation technique of the second Hokage, and the spying technique of the third Hokage. While Naruto put on his new kimono, a green one with leaf designs tied with a military green sash. I was surprised that you asked for those materials, Danzo commented as he watched the boy arrange his equipment. In addition to the kimono, Naruto saw himself in one of the reflective surfaces in the office. I have learned from you that one must always conceal what they carry. Many people will only see the flashy kimono. Naruto rolled up his sleeves, revealing the metal guards and hidden senbone triggers in each sleeve. No one sees what's underneath. Naruto opened his kimono, revealing the equipment that would be worn by a Konoha Onbu, complete with several belts containing numerous pouches, as well as 2 hip pouches and 2 kunai holsters on each leg. Well thought out, Danzo remarked as he stood up and walked to one side of his office, where he picked up a black wooden box with golden ornaments. Danzo turned and approached Naruto, handing him the box. Naruto looked at this confused, placed the box on one of the office tables, and opened the top lid of the box. Inside were 2 objects, each at least 30 centimeters long, 2 fans made of metal. It was evident they were made of metal because while the first and last rods were almost rectangular and black in color, the rest were gray. There was a weave beneath the fabric to keep them sturdy, and the fabric itself was black, adorned with the same symbol found on the back and shoulders of Chunin vests, but in emerald green. They were heavy, and their pointed finish indicated they were not intended for artistic use. For a wind user like us, a good weapon is one that can be sharpened at precisely the right moment, Danzo commented, taking the other fan. However, on many missions or formal occasions, swords and small metal objects are frowned upon, he added, closing the fan and then swiftly opening it, causing a crescent-shaped wind blade to slice through the metal door. But these can be carried at all times, and for someone as skilled as you, Naruto, he closed it and placed it back in the box. You must already be thinking of the hundreds of jutsu you can perform with them, he said. Naruto placed his other fan in the box and closed it. Why? The boy questioned. Danzo replied. You never give anything for free, you've never done anything without benefiting from it. Why are you giving me weapons like these? Naruto inquired. Danzo let out a small laugh. Consider it a gift, Danzo said, heading towards the darkness where his door had been before. From a master to his disciple, he disappeared into the darkness. Naruto looked at the box. He knew he shouldn't take them. But they were so tempting. In the end, he left with the box. After all, Danzo was right, those would be great weapons for him. And so it began. Danzo smiled. Now the ultimate weapon of Konoha can finally act. He concluded his monologue to himself. Now he had to figure out how to get the Edo Tensei to Orochimaru. 2 days later, Naruto. He woke up hoping it would be a good day. Finally, he would become a Genin. Finally, he would achieve his goal of being able to survive anyone. He would prove that he was a survivor. And so began his life as a ninja. The 2 days that the Hokage had ordered Naruto to take as rest had passed, and now he could proceed with complete tranquility to the academy where he would be assigned to a ninja team. Naruto gazed at his belongings. He had prepared his ninja gear and the kimono he would wear over it since last night. He looked at his shinobi registration photo. He had taken that photo at 10 in the morning the day after the scroll theft, and it had been approved by the Hokage and his team at the academy yesterday, although something strange had happened yesterday. Naruto remembered how, while he was waiting for the forms to be sealed, an 8-year-old boy burst into the room, shouting that he was challenging the 4th Hokage to a deadly duel for the hat. Naruto reacted on instinct, swiftly disarming and immobilizing the child with a kunai at his throat in case he made any sudden moves. Suddenly, the 3rd Hokage grabbed Naruto by the hands and tossed him to the other side of the room, visibly concerned for the frightened child. Why did you do that, Naruto? The 4th Hokage asked, equally surprised but making sure Naruto was unharmed. Naruto didn't understand. That kid came in threatening your life with a weapon, he explained, pointing at the child. It's a potential threat. The village's own laws list over 20 crimes he would commit through my inaction. It's just a child, Hiruzen Sarutobi said, clearly irritated. Naruto couldn't comprehend it. Itachi Uchiha was a child, not much older than him, and he was already a Chunin. As far as I know, a child can carry enough explosive tags on their person to kill us all, Naruto commented. Minato chuckled nervously at the situation. It was just a game, he said. Naruto was baffled. I don't get it, he said. The kid came in armed, threatening your life, and you treat it like a game? He's my grandson, Hiruzen explained to Naruto, still annoyed. So, he tried to kill the 4th in your name? Naruto questioned, still not understanding the situation. No, Naruto, he was just a child playing, Minato explained with a nervous laugh. A child shouldn't play like that in a village like this, Naruto grumbled. These kinds of games usually end in death, he added, clearly upset. Hiruzen scolded his grandson, Konohamaru, and reminded him that he should be in his lessons. I know you have your lessons, he said. Sorry, Sandaime-sama, a voice followed by a clone appeared, a ninja in blue attire with glasses. I got carried away for a moment, he apologized. Naruto sighed. Hokage-sama, can I go now? He asked Minato. I don't think I can endure more of this uselessness. Minato sighed and nodded, handing Naruto a ninja headband. Take this, he said. Thank you, Hokage-sama, Naruto said, taking the headband and placing it on his shoulder for the moment. He noticed the strange look the fourth Hokage gave him but chose to ignore it. He was about to leave when someone stood in his way. You must apologize for threatening the life of the Honorable Sandaime's grandson, the ninja in blue attire and glasses stated. Apologize? Naruto frowned. For doing what needs to be done? If it weren't for the third, I wouldn't have stopped. I don't care if the threat to my village is a baby, if it needs to be done, it should be done, Naruto said in a tone so serious and cold that the chunin in front of him shivered. Minato felt a pang in his chest. Those words hurt, they shouldn't be spoken by his son. Hiruzen, for a moment, felt a chilling reminder of the past. He saw a young Danzo in Naruto's position. Apologize, you miserable orphan, Ebisu said, giving Naruto a slap. The next thing that happened was the sound of Naruto's flesh moving. Naruto turned to face Ebisu, kunai still in hand, and extended its blade, covered in wind chakra. Enough, Naruto, Minato ordered. Naruto growled at him, annoyed. The Hokage stopped him from doing what was right and then scolded him for doing what should be done. Ebisu smirked with superiority. And you, Ebisu, Hiruzen spoke, shouldn't assume roles that aren't yours, he said, sternly. You're at fault for this situation. Naruto sighed, simply sheathed the kunai, and put it back in his clothes. He circled around the chunin and left the office in a whirlwind of wind. Wait, Naruto. Minato grumbled, irritated by how Ebisu had ruined his plan to remind Naruto to attend the academy's closing and graduation ceremony. It wasn't a big deal, but it would have been a good excuse for the two of them to spend some time together. But Ebisu had ruined it. Konohamaru had witnessed everything and, after his initial fear, he realized something. That kid was so cool. That had been the day he received his headband, a day Naruto would always remember as the day he learned that in Konoha, safety doesn't matter as long as there are children involved, especially if those children are privileged. How Naruto hated those privileged kids. They thought they were better just because they came from noble families. No, Naruto would show them that an orphan was stronger than they were, and when all of them were dead for failing their missions, he would laugh, the only survivor. Once ready, he wore the ninja headband as a waist ornament, he wouldn't wear it on his forehead. He wasn't proud of the Konoha that Hiruzen and Minato had created. This village was so ineffective. Naruto left his apartment and headed to the academy. Uchiha Mikado finished preparing lunch for her son. She placed it on the table with care and then examined a new photograph taken hastily yesterday. As it was graduation day at the academy, there were many photos. The main one featured all the parents, the Hokage, and the children gathered together. The next was a photo that many children desired, one with the cage and their parents. The last one was of her and Sasuke together. The older woman cherished these moments with her son. Her little one was growing into a fine young man, and one day, he would lead the Uchiha clan on a better path than Madara and better than Fugaku's incompetence. Mikado hoped for this. When her son came downstairs for breakfast, she smiled, proud of him. She saw him off and then dedicated her time to studying and training. For a woman of her age, finding someone who understood her life was challenging. However, she never lost hope of one day finding someone with a similar mindset and life experiences. Sasuke smiled when he saw Naruto at the academy. He was waiting for his team assignment, ready to accept anyone as long as they weren't a distraction and their sensei could teach him. That's all he needed. He hoped it would be that way so he could eventually match Naruto's level and then surpass him to reach the level of Itachi to defeat him and bring redemption to his clan. Sakura Haruno was finishing up her makeup, making sure her forehead gem wouldn't show with the ninja headband. She had long, well-maintained hair, a good figure thanks to her diet, and she was certain that destiny was on her side. She would be with her beloved Sasuke Uchiha, and he would fall in love with her. That way, she could prove to Ino, her ex-best friend, that she was better than her. She would live a romance like the ones in books with her Sasuke-kun. She left the house with excitement, although she felt a bit tired and hungry. On her way to the academy, she ran into a certain pig. Both girls were walking slowly, gradually getting closer until they were shoulder to shoulder, ready to race and secure a seat next to their beloved Sasuke. However, even though they pushed a girl and nearly broke the academy's door, that darn Naruto was already next to their beloved. Naruto stopped writing when the Hyuga girl flew into the classroom, followed by the annoying pink and yellow nuisances. They glared at him with anger, and more girls joined them. Naruto, Baka, leave Sasuke-kun alone. Ino scolded him. Yeah, stop sitting next to him, Sakura said loudly, causing Naruto pain in his ears. Today is the day he and I should sit together, so destiny will put us on the same team, she commented. Do you really think Sasuke's destiny is with you, forehead? Ino taunted. Naruto took out one of his fans and began to open and close it, listening to the insults from the two girls. Just as they were about to face off, he opened it wide, releasing a powerful gust of wind. Both girls were thrown against the wall, and the papers in the room fell to the floor. I'll say this once, Naruto closed the fan and opened it again. As he did, all the sheets of paper that had fallen were sliced into pieces. Bother me again, and the next thing I cut will be one of your necks, Naruto finished his threat. The two girls rubbed their sore shoulders, realizing they weren't ready for that attack. They were about to confront Naruto when he opened and closed the fan again, as if waiting for their response. All the boys raised their hands, along with some of the girls. Sakura, are you okay? Iruka asked, looking at the girl from below. I'm fine. Nothing can stop my love for Sasuke-kun, the girl said, still in pain. Iruka sighed. Sensei, will be Kakashi Hatake, Iruka read the name of the great ninja. Well, this will be an interesting team, he commented. Uzumaki Naruto, he called out first, and many children began murmuring, hoping not to be placed on the same team as Naruto. Only one girl wished the opposite. Sasuke Uchiha, Iruka read, causing a sudden change as now all the girls wanted to be on that team, regardless of the blonde ninja. And Sakura Haruno, he finished, and Sakura jumped for joy. Love triumphs, she declared. A loud thud followed, and everyone saw Naruto banging his head on the table. Sakura continued celebrating until she was thrown against the wall by a gust of wind. Everyone looked at Naruto's raised hand and his fan. Who's had enough of her voice? Naruto asked. All the boys raised their hands, and some girls did too. Sakura, are you okay? Iruka asked, looking at the girl from below. I'm fine. Nothing can stop my love for Sasuke-kun, the girl said, still in pain. Iruka sighed. Sensei, will be Kakashi Hatake, Iruka read the name of the great ninja. Well, this will be an interesting team, he commented. Uzumaki Naruto, he called out first, and many children began murmuring, hoping not to be placed on the same team as Naruto. Only one girl wished the opposite. Sasuke Uchiha, Iruka read, causing a sudden change as now all the girls wanted to be on that team, regardless of the blonde ninja. And Sakura Haruno, he finished, and Sakura jumped for joy. Love triumphs, she declared. A loud thud followed, and everyone saw Naruto banging his head on the table. Sakura continued celebrating until she was thrown against the wall by a gust of wind. Everyone looked at Naruto's raised hand and his fan. Who's had enough of her voice? Naruto asked. Class, you have an hour of break, then return to the classroom. Your sensei will pick you up, the teacher explained. It's an honor to have you as classmates, he greeted them before leaving. The children exited the classroom. Naruto closed his fans and wandered without a specific destination. Sakura, on the other hand, had a clear direction in mind. Meanwhile, Sasuke simply wanted to enjoy the lunch his mother had prepared in peace. Then, did you punish Naruto for stealing the scroll in the incident with Konohamaru? Hiruzen questioned Minato while examining the lists of senseis and their teams. No, well, I didn't, Minato sighed. Originally, my plan was to place him together with Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame, with Azuma as their sensei. Minato adjusted his hair. But after the scroll incident, the council insists that the Sharingan is the only thing that can stop the Nine Tails. So, they arranged for Naruto and Sasuke to be on the same team, and as they requested this months ago, Kakashi became Sasuke's sensei. Even Kakashi seems interested in teaching Sasuke, Minato remarked, showing curiosity about his former student's motivation to become a sensei. But if we place the two best in combat skills and jutsus together, we need to balance it with the best in theoretical knowledge, explained the blonde Hokage. That's my system of teammates, this way, everyone has a chance to improve, Hiruzen proudly stated. Minato nodded, though he knew this system had often hindered teams, leading to promotions based on means other than the Chunin exams. Minato sighed and thought, yesterday would have been the ideal day to take the generation photo with Naruto and have one together at their graduation. After all, It's a tradition for the Genin and the Hokage to have a photo together. Minato would have at least liked to help Naruto with a good teacher, considering his circumstances. But now, he had Kakashi, who wasn't a bad sensei, although he could easily get lost in life. Sasuke was peacefully eating his onigiri. His mother had prepared his favorite tomato sauce, so he was enjoying his meal. "Sasuke-kun," called out Sakura, his assigned team member. He wanted to tell her to leave him alone and let him eat, but he had promised his mother that he would try to be kind to his new teammate. "Yeah," he mumbled, not even sure if that was a real word. "I'm so happy that you and I are on the same team," Sakura exclaimed enthusiastically. "I hope we get interesting missions that help both of us grow as ninjas," she added. For a moment, Sasuke thought she might be someone he could get along with. "The three of us," Sasuke said, taking a bite of his food. "Naruto is also on our team." "Right, Sasuke-kun." Sakura gave him a playful tap on the shoulder, causing tomato sauce to mix with plum sauce. "Naruto is just useless, he's just a burden. He's an orphan without parents, just a worthless kid," Sakura commented, unaware of how Sasuke's lunch was ruined. "But you're so strong and amazing," she praised. Sasuke closed his lunchbox and stood up, annoyed. "That useless orphan, as you call him," Sasuke looked at Sakura, irritated, "is the one who saved my mother and me from death. Watch your words, Haruno." Sasuke left the place, leaving Sakura completely stunned. The break time came to an end, and slowly, the children returned to the classroom, followed by their senseis. Naruto was irritated to see someone like Asuma Sarutobi, one of the few wind jutsu specialists focused on close combat, wasting his talent on them. The Ino Shikacho squad of this generation, Naruto thought, the village has at least 40 of those teams, all with the same attack patterns. Such a waste of time. Time passed, and only 3 students remained in the classroom. Sasuke was dozing off with his face resting on his fingers. Sakura looked sadly at Sasuke. One moment, she was picturing their wedding and children, and the next, Sasuke was addressing her by her last name. Without any honorifics. Naruto had started developing a nervous tic, constantly opening and closing his fan in his hand. With each passing minute, it seemed like Naruto was keeping pace with the rhythm. As the clock neared 3 p.m., their sensei finally decided to enter the room. A man with white hair entered, one side of his face covered by his ninja headband, wearing a jounin vest and adopting a relaxed posture. The man surveyed the room and saw the 3 children. "My initial impression of you 3. You're all useless," the white-haired man remarked. Naruto closed his fan and sighed. Kakashi expected a reaction, but there was none. "I'll meet you 3 on the roof in a few minutes," Kakashi ordered. Sakura and Sasuke left through the door, while Naruto simply vanished in a swirl of wind. Naruto sat down and waited. Soon, Sasuke and Sakura arrived, and then Kakashi appeared and looked at them. "Well, since we're here, why don't we introduce ourselves?" Kakashi suggested. "Let's start with you," he pointed to Sakura. "What do you like, dislike, your dreams, and goals?" "Well, I'm Sakura Haruno," she began, glancing at Sasuke and shifting uncomfortably. She looked at Sasuke again, and her uneasiness grew. "My dream is," she hesitated once more, glancing at Sasuke. "My goals are," she fidgeted again. "I dislike Ino and Naruto," Sakura finally said. Naruto closed his fan and opened it again. "A fan already," Kakashi muttered. "Now, you," he pointed to Sasuke. "I'm Sasuke Uchiha. My dream is to clear my clan's name, my goal is to avenge my clan's murderer. I like food and training, and I dislike anyone who gets in my way," Sasuke explained, looking irritated at Sakura. Kakashi appeared pensive but nodded. And finally, he pointed to Naruto. "I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I like reading and training. My goal is to become stronger, and my dream is to survive. I dislike those who disregard the shinobi code and those who relax with the written rules," Naruto said, closing his fan. Kakashi seemed lost in thought. "My name is Kakashi Hatake, and I will be your jounin sensei. My goals and hobbies are not of your concern, and I've never really thought about dreams," the jounin sensei explained. Naruto sighed, and Kakashi continued his speech. "Well, I will be your sensei, but only if you pass the final test," he commented. Sakura raised her hand. "But sensei, we've already graduated, and we're not supposed to be apprentices anymore," the pink-haired girl pointed out. "In reality, only a few graduate. It's expected that at least 3 teams pass, but even one is enough," Kakashi explained. "So, There has to be one last test, one final filter. You all should meet me at Training Ground 7 tomorrow at dawn, and I recommend not eating. Consider yourselves warned, he said, disappearing in a swirl of leaves. The young ninjas exchanged glances, and in a strange nonverbal message, Naruto and Sasuke went their separate ways to prepare for the test the next day. Meanwhile, Sakura was determined to prove how superior she was, hoping to gain Sasuke's respect by showing she was on par with him. In Minato's office, the Hokage observed Kakashi's arrival. He expected the usual explanation that Kakashi couldn't train them for some reason, but instead, Kakashi informed him about the bell test and that he would subject the team to it. Minato nodded and dismissed him to return to his paperwork. Kakashi, wait a moment, Hiruzen Sarutobi stopped Kakashi while they were away from Minato's office. Yes, Sandaime-sama, the young silver-haired man patiently awaited the former Hokage's orders. Although Hiruzen had retired many years ago, his words and sometimes choices were still highly regarded by all the ninja groups, clan leaders, shinobi, and even the current Hokage, making it seem like Hiruzen was still the Hokage at times. I have a favor to ask, the man exhaled smoke from his pipe. Tomorrow, while you're testing your team, I want you to put a bit more pressure on Naruto, act as if you're trying to capture an enemy ninja, the Hokage explained. Why, Sandaime-sama? Questioned the silver-haired ninja, his former leader. I have a slight suspicion, and I want to see if you notice it too. Please, treat him as if he were an Anbu operative, just for this test, he explained. Kakashi considered it and nodded. It might be just an idea of the third Hokage, but it wouldn't hurt to gauge the true abilities of his sensei's son. Naruto finished his breakfast and packed his standard food supply. He knew that Kakashi had never explicitly ordered them not to eat, he had only suggested it. So, Naruto assumed the test might involve endurance, and nothing tests endurance like not eating. Once he was ready, he made his way to the designated location. Sasuke left his house with his lunch ready for whatever the test might entail and began his journey to clear his clan's name. He wasn't surprised to see Naruto already there. The young blonde was in a meditative posture, inhaling and exhaling deeply, even appearing to stop breathing for extended periods. After a few minutes, Sakura arrived. She looked terrible, like she had barely slept, and by the way she held her stomach, it was evident she was hungry. Ouch, Sakura complained when she was hit on the head by a cereal bar and dried fruits. It's clear you haven't eaten, Naruto said from his seated position. This is probably a test of endurance, and if it is, it's better if your stomach doesn't give away your position, he explained. But Kakashi-sensei said not to eat, Sakura commented. He suggested it, Sasuke clarified. But he didn't order it, he added. Sakura saw Naruto nodding, so she ate the cereal bar, at least ensuring she wouldn't get hungry too soon. It turned out to be a wise move, as Kakashi didn't arrive until after 11 a.m., even though he had scheduled their meeting for 7 a.m. Apologies for the delay, he said with a smile, seemingly with a logical excuse. A black cat crossed my path, and I had to take the long way around, he explained. The three teenagers looked annoyed, but there wasn't much they could do. Let's explain the rules, Kakashi said. He reached into his pouch and pulled out a clock with an alarm and 2 bells. You have until 3 p.m. to take these bells from me, he showed the 2 bells. Whoever has a bell passes, plain and simple. But sensei, there are only 2 bells, Sakura pointed out. Exactly, only 2 of you will pass, Kakashi explained. The one without a bell will be sent back to the academy for another year, he informed them. Naruto stood up and played with his fan. Something didn't make sense, this test sounded like teamwork. Kakashi placed the alarm clock on some wooden sticks and looked at them. Their lunches were on the sticks. The one without a bell will be tied to one of the posts, and the others will eat their lunch, he said. However, he noticed something. You don't seem hungry. Did you eat breakfast? He asked, a bit annoyed. You only suggested it, Naruto continued opening and closing his fan. You never ordered it, he added. Kakashi nodded. Hide. He ordered, officially beginning the test. It was the first command. Instantly, the Uchiha leapt into the trees and disappeared. Sakura darted through the underbrush, while Naruto opened his 2 fans, only to close them and vanish. A genjutsu, Kakashi commented as he realized this. The other 2, at least, know how to conceal themselves, but him. Kakashi was searching for Naruto's presence. He reacted when kunai were launched towards him. Initially, he planned to block them, but the sound they made alerted him to the wisdom of dodging them. His decision proved correct when the tree behind him was sliced by the small metal pieces. Kakashi formed hand seals. Suten, Shisui no Dana no Jutsu. A high-pressure water sphere was hurled toward the direction from which the kunai had been thrown. However, his attack was thwarted when a strong gust of wind blocked it, colliding with an invisible wall composed of numerous bursts that destroyed the water sphere. Kakashi heard something and began evading senbons. These senbons, unlike the usual ones, were enveloped in wind chakra, causing them to pierce whatever they hit, leaving holes in the ground and vegetation. I understand, Kakashi observed. Naruto is a long-range attacker. He comprehended that Naruto was using both his kimono to hide and his ability to launch long-distance attacks and weapons to gain an advantage. I need to test the others, Kakashi said as he formed hand seals, sending a clone after Sasuke and Sakura while he stayed behind to observe Naruto. With Sakura. Upon seeing what had transpired, the young girl watched in fear as Naruto blocked an attack. Due to the gust of wind, her hiding place was exposed, so she was forced to run in search of another. Sasuke-kun, where are you? The pink-haired girl ran while searching for her beloved black-haired companion. She arrived in a clearing where she saw her sensei, and he quickly formed hand seals. Soon, all the leaves on the ground rose, leaving Sakura momentarily confused as she could no longer see her sensei. Sakura, Sasuke's voice said behind her. Sasuke-kun. The girl was happy, only to be horrified when she saw her beloved covered in wounds, with weapons piercing his body and causing severe damage. Sasuke, she didn't finish her sentence before being knocked out. Kakashi sighed somewhat disappointed. According to the Academy report, Sakura had a great aptitude for detecting genjutsu, so he hoped she would be the type to use genjutsu to trick another team member into attacking. Without further ado, he picked her up and placed her on one of the wooden posts. The clone dissipated as it was hit by a wind shuriken. With Sasuke. The younger Uchiha had been hiding in the trees, watching the battle, or rather, the stalemate. Naruto was somewhere, launching weapons and jutsus that Kakashi dodged and blocked, and when Kakashi used a jutsu, Naruto countered it with wind. So, the younger Uchiha saw his opportunity. He threw his own kunai, one of them with an explosive note. He hoped Naruto would understand the message. Kakashi dodged the kunai and moved away from the explosive note. Then, several scrolls were launched from the trees. They crashed onto the ground and glowed, leaving seal marks on it. Curious, Kakashi thought. He knew about these scrolls, they were exclusively used by Anbu, more specifically, exclusive to Anbu root. How Naruto had access to these scrolls, Kakashi wondered. Now, Kakashi relied on his memory not to step where these scrolls had been activated. He remembered the explosive field those scrolls created. Naruto, Sasuke called from the trees, forming hand seals. Katen Gokakyu no Jutsu. A large fireball was launched at Kakashi. Kakashi dodged the A-rank ninjutsu and let it pass him. Futon, Kakashi heard behind him, and Naruto revealed himself by raising his two fans. Sansahawa Fubuki no Jutsu. Naruto vigorously waved his two fans, causing two wind currents to collide and move quickly, striking the large fireball. However, instead of being destroyed, the fireball merged with the attack, creating a large number of fire currents that headed towards Kakashi. The Jounin did his best to evade them, although he did burn his sleeve. The ground beneath him glowed. Black lines bound his arms and legs. Now, Sasuke! Naruto shouted, stowing one fan and raising the sleeve of his kimono. I've got him in my sights. Go for the bells, he ordered. Kakashi saw the senbon's launcher in his sleeve. Sasuke quickly ran to it, reached his waist, and cut the cords connecting the two bells with his kunai. Hearing a screech, Kakashi saw how he untied himself using strange lightning chakra in his hands. Go that way, Naruto threw senbons, but they were normal and marked some places. Sasuke ran towards them, realizing that those must have been the places where Naruto had launched the scrolls. Realizing the same thing and now free, Kakashi chased after the two children. Sasuke jumped into the trees, with Naruto firing senbons to cover his teammate. Upon realizing that Kakashi was also closing in, Naruto decided to escape. Kakashi threw a kunai with a ninja wire to wrap it around Naruto's right calf and pull him. But in a lightning-fast reaction just before the cord tightened, Naruto spun with his fan in hand and cut the thread precisely when it tightened, neither before nor after, just as it tightened, allowing him to escape. Kakashi witnessed this maneuver. That move. He decided to follow the kids. We left Sakura behind, Naruto said, annoyed, launching explosive notes. Yeah, Sasuke replied. Do you want to go back for her? He questioned, with no intention of saving the pink-haired girl. No, but something doesn't sit right with me about this test, it's too strange, Naruto explained before being caught by Kakashi. Kakashi applied a pressure lock to try to subdue Naruto, who quickly turned to extend his arm and then pushed off to kick Kakashi. Kakashi released Naruto and looked at him with curiosity. Naruto opened his mouth. Let's go for Sakura, Naruto ordered. Gokakyu no Jutsu, Sasuke said, accepting Naruto's new plan. Kakashi dodged the attack. Futon Jashu Suru Senpu no Jutsu, Naruto quickly opened his fan, and a thin wind tornado struck Sasuke's fireball, creating a tornado of fire that followed Kakashi. The two boys took advantage of this to go back for Sakura. Kakashi was in the field in front of the logs when he appeared, punching Naruto in the stomach and kicking his back, then blocking Sasuke's kunai with his own and evading the cuts Naruto made with his metal fans. It was then that Kakashi stopped a kick from Sasuke and Naruto's hand. Time, the man smiled when the alarm rang 3 times. Wow, I'm impressed. You really have both bells, he said. Yes, here they are. Sasuke showed him the 2 bells and tossed one to Naruto, who caught it, noticing that Kakashi seemed disappointed. Well, let's wake up Sakura, the silver-haired man said. But before that, he took a rope. Sakura woke up when she smelled something. It smelled like salt. Upon opening her eyes, she saw Naruto with an open container that he quickly closed and tucked into his kimono. Aromatic salts, the blonde replied. What happened? Sakura moved and realized she was tied up. Well, you failed, Kakashi said. Your teammates passed, so wait here while I inform the Hokage that the 2 of you passed. Kakashi commented. However, you're prohibited from giving Sakura any food, he ordered. But how long will it take? Sasuke asked, hoping that their sensei would take a long time. I don't know, Kakashi said, disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Sakura wanted to cry, her dream of being with her Sasuke-kun was shattered. She had failed, and what would she tell her parents? She could already hear Ino mocking her. Her stomach interrupted her thoughts, her diet and this situation were making her hungry. Here, Naruto gave Sakura one of his rice portions. But Sakura was surprised, she hadn't expected Naruto to feed her. Sasuke knew that Naruto didn't disobey an order unless he had a reason, and this entire test had been strange, so he followed suit. Here, he gave Sakura one of his fish strips. Thank you, the girl happily ate. It was then that lightning struck in front of them, and a frustrated Kakashi appeared, looking at them. I told you not to feed her, he said angrily. You defied my order to help a Konoha ninja. You disobeyed my orders. He continued, looking at them with annoyance. Sasuke drew a kunai, and Naruto, with his fan, cut Sakura's ropes. If Kakashi attacked, they would use Sakura as a human shield to gain time. I only have one thing to say to you, Kakashi said, looking annoyed. The teenagers were ready to act if he attacked. You, Kakashi smiled. Passed. That's all he said. What? Sakura questioned. How? Sasuke asked. Naruto sighed. This was a teamwork test, right? He questioned. Exactly, Kakashi commented. The test is designed for at least one person not to pass unless another gives up their bell. Usually, no team does it, attacking each other or leaving a teammate behind, Kakashi explained. When I thought you had left her, I was going to stop the fight. But when I saw you coming back, I decided to see how willing you are to ignore orders for each other, Kakashi commented. In this place, there's a rock with the names of all the shinobi in our village inscribed on it, Kakashi explained. A colleague once told me, those who don't follow orders are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum, Kakashi concluded. So, we're a team, Sakura asked, somewhat happily. Indeed, Kakashi said. Starting tomorrow, we'll be Team 7. From what I've seen, we'll be the mixed team of our generation, just like the Team 10 from the previous generation that didn't participate in the Chunin exams. It's composed of a close combat specialist, a long-range protection ninja, and a weapon specialist, he explained. I want our team to consist of a close combat and combat jutsu specialist, a long-range weapon specialist, and, well, Sakura, if you believe you're good at genjutsu, you should practice more if you want to keep up in a mixed team, the silver-haired ninja commented. Why? Sakura questioned. Konoha teams are divided into 5 categories, Naruto said. Search team, direct confrontation team, capture team, defense team, and mixed team. The type of team determines the specialists, Naruto explained. In addition to missions, the mixed teams typically have the second highest number of missions outside the village, mainly of A rank or higher, the blonde added. Exactly, Kakashi said, looking at Naruto. This wasn't academy information. So unless you want to die on a mission outside the village, you'll need to train, he advised. Now, team, see you tomorrow in front of the Hokage's office at 8 a.m., the silver-haired ninja informed them. Your explanation of teamwork is curious, sensei, Naruto remarked. Coming from the White Fang's legacy, it's just curious. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of wind. Sasuke packed up his lunch and left. Sakura followed Sasuke to ask him out. Kakashi remained lost in thought. Naruto knew who he was. So, did he know about the Sharingan? Minato's office. Minato smiled as he looked at the reports. Team 8, consisting of Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and Kiba Inuzuka, passed. Their sensei would be Kurenai Yuki, so that would be the search team of this generation. Team 9, with Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Ino Yamanaka, also passed, so they, along with Asuma, would be a direct confrontation team. Team 11 also passed. The teenagers were orphans, Sosai, Kamina, and Shomiai, under the guidance of the newly promoted Jounin Riko, would form a defense team. Hiruzen Sarutobi was assisting Minato for now as a secretary since his secretary was on maternity leave, so he was helping in reviewing the newly formed teams when Kakashi arrived. Team 7 passed, the silver-haired ninja said. Not only did they demonstrate teamwork, but I was also able to evaluate them properly, and I believe they fit the standard for a mixed team, Kakashi explained. Minato discreetly smiled. Then, Hiruzen looked at Kakashi. Did you notice something specific about what I asked you? He questioned. What did you ask Hiruzen-san? Minato asked, confused about the former Hokage's inquiry. Kakashi sighed and pointed to the office. Minato nodded. Ambus, please leave, the blonde ordered. The four who were guarding him quickly left. It's about your son, sensei, Kakashi said. Having cared for Kushina during her pregnancy and being the one who delivered Naruto to the orphanage, Kakashi knew the blonde from afar. What's wrong with him? Minato asked, a bit concerned. The style Naruto adopted from the start of the test was long-range combat. Not only that, but the ninja tools he used are very specific, almost as if they were tailor-made for him, Kakashi began. Then there are those scrolls. I don't know how, but Naruto has in his possession the trap scrolls used by the special forces, he explained. The two men exchanged glances. They didn't know how Danzo had acquired them, but those seals were on a higher level than many had seen. So the idea that a master of seals was on Danzo's side began to surface in the minds of all the ninjas who knew about Danzo's intentions. Not only that, sensei, Kakashi explained, Naruto has mastered the ninja wire cutting maneuver. It was flawless, no hesitation, no waiting, it seemed as if he had done it before. He cut the wire not just after it was tensioned but right at the moment it was about to be tensioned, the silver-haired ninja commented. Such a maneuver takes years of practice, Hiruzen elaborated. Not only that, he cut it using his fans, and it was my ninja wire, Kakashi further explained. Minato contemplated this. Very few weapons can sever the Ambu's ninja wire, and even fewer are attainable by a child, he said. So, someone is providing resources to Naruto, Hiruzen deduced. Not just resources, Kakashi added. He applied the Ambu submission lock, and Naruto knew how to evade and counter it. Moreover, he possesses an abnormal understanding of the chain of command, knowledge of team types, and even details about my past, Kakashi explained. Restricted information, Minato noted. Training, resources, and information, Hiruzen continued. Along with a mastery of wind chakra. And Naruto must have trained for years to perform even half of his jutsu, it's not something one achieves overnight, he explained. Sensei, everything about your son is highly unusual, Kakashi concluded. Minato contemplated. Kakashi, please excuse yourself. Thank you for the information. Submit your report when you can, Minato requested, the information swirling in his mind. The silver-haired ninja stood and left. Hiruzen looked at Minato. All signs point to a single conclusion, Hiruzen said. Someone has trained Naruto and is providing him with supplies, Minato stated. And even classified information, he added. It might even be influencing his ideology, Hiruzen said, lighting his pipe. The way he spoke about Konohamaru made me think of someone from his youth, he explained. Minato sighed. But it's impossible. I've considered all explanations. If Danzo were involved, we would know, he said. Hiruzen nodded. Perhaps it's just a series of coincidences, the third Hokage suggested. Minato looked at his son's picture in his file. Naruto's emotionless face in the photo, his ninja team assignment, academy results, and even his chakra nature, all of it was remarkably high for an orphan. Minato grumbled in frustration. Someone was playing in the shadows. But who? End of the part 1. I hope you enjoy the story.